Now, I am not making this video to offend a nation in any way, shape or form. However, it might come across that way, and I'm also not here to say no Brazilians or MMA fans, because that couldn't be more far from the truth. But I want to give my thoughts a little bit on what we've seen over the weekend at UFC 283, Hill versus Teixeira. But first, I'm sorry I didn't do a fight companion. I was going to do a live stream for the whole event. However, I had to leave and go to a different city. Literally, it's very stressful. I was working till like 6 or 7 on Friday, got on the bus at like 7:30, and I was just away. I had no equipment to make videos or anything, and I didn't want to do like a phone video, like a video on my phone, because I didn't think you guys would appreciate that. But I could have done a live stream from my phone, which I did realise when I was sat in the hotel. I was like, fuck. But you know what? It's fine. We're back now, and I'm just going to make a little video. I think it's a bit late now to make my reaction video on like what I think of the fights and stuff. However, I will do a what's next video most likely. So like what's next for Hill, what's next for Johnny Walker, etc, etc. Moreno, Figueiredo. I'm gonna do a video maybe on like Deiveson, Figueiredo, and Moreno, etc. Anyway, moving on to the actual topic of this video. I don't hate Brazilians, by the way. It's about to seem like that. UFC in Brazil again. Now, the last time the UFC were in Brazil, I think it was Oliveira versus Kevin Lee, UFC Rio. However, there was no crowd, so you know, the arena was sold out, and then COVID happened, tickets get refunded, the event still goes ahead. It was in March, just before COVID, March of 2020, I believe. I didn't watch the fights live, but I watched them at 6:30 in the morning when I woke up, every single one pretty much, on the main card and a few in the prelims and the McKinney fight, etc. You could barely hear the crowd. Gilbert Burns walkout. I was expecting fireworks. The last time Gilbert fought anybody in Brazil was in March of 2020, and he fought Damian Maia and knocked him out without a crowd. And since then, he's gone on a tear. He's just now beaten Neil Magny in front of his hometown. He's fought Chimaev, who some people think he won that fight. You could probably give that fight either way and no one would be bothered by it. And what else has he done? He went on to fight for the belt. He beat Tyron Woodley. And it was like a homecoming for me. I was so excited to see that Gilbert's like one of their top 5 superstars. The Oliveira and Gilbert are the 2 biggest Brazilian fighters in my opinion. So I was expecting something from it. That's the first thing I watched. Gilbert Burns walkout. I was massively underwhelmed. Where is the chance for Gilbert Burns? Where is the crowd screaming as he's in that cage? Like putting the fear of God into Neil Magny. We just didn't see anything like that, and maybe but it wasn't even like a more tame crowd. It wasn't even like an American crowd. I guess because Gilbert's been fighting a lot in America, he's become an American fan favourite. Everybody, I think, maybe knows the stories, and that's what I think it is about these fans. I don't think they're invested that much in the fighters themselves and what they get up to and like the storylines of fights. For example, let me try to think of a good example. What could be a good example of what I'm about to say? I'm trying to think of a really good example that will make you guys understand what I'm meaning. Okay. Dan Hooker, right? The Brazilian fans wouldn't know about, let's say Gilbert Burns did what Dan Hooker did. Gilbert Burns fought 2 weeks later against Islam Makhachev. I feel like the American fans would really like understand that and cheer for Dan because of his story, and like I don't even feel like it didn't seem like the Brazilians cared that much. There was a lot. I don't know how big the arena was. I really should have looked into that. But when Glover Teixeira is retiring from the sport, he's given his all to the sport. The arena had about 2,000 people in it. And you watched back the interview. He's talking and you barely hear anything. It's like these fans do not deserve another pay-per-view in their country. Throwing beer and throwing shit at Brandon Moreno because he's just beaten your champion. Get a fucking grip. Now, I remember sitting in a Bellator event a few years ago, 4 years ago, when I was like 14 years old. And I remember the main event was on, and I booed him. I went boo or whatever I did when some of the other crowd members were. And my dad looked at me and he said, "Never boo anybody." I was like, "Why?" He was like, "Just don't boo people. Like, you don't boo someone. You can not want them to win. You can hate them. You can hate their guts, but you don't boo them when they're coming in to fight in a cage, especially." Or like the same, he hates some football teams, right? But he never boos them. And I was like, okay. I kind of felt that. It kind of got to me a bit that he told me to. It was just a bit embarrassing for me. I was like, I really do see your point. Like, it's a bit, you know, I get it. You don't boo anybody. You know, this guy's risking his life getting in the cage. I'm not going to boo him, but I can hate him if I want to, and I can want him to get knocked out, but I shouldn't boo him. I was just like, boo. It just seems a bit like a weird thing to me, and ever since then, I've always said that I'm never going to boo anyone. Booing Moreno after he won, throwing shit at him after he won. Stop being sore loser crybabies. Now, this is what Colby Covington was like, Brazil, you're a dump, you're swamp trash, whatever he said, and it was kind of just like scumbaggish. Like, it just made me think. Now this is what people are going to get confused by. I'm not saying all Brazilians are like this. There's some like Brazilian jiu-jitsu is out of Brazil. You know, Brazil is such a respectful, great place when it comes to martial arts and where everything's come from. But I don't know what it was. It was just like the people, maybe their personalities. Just, I'm going to leave the arena now. Glover's losing. Oh, I'm going to throw shit at Moreno. He just fucking beat our guy. It's like, your people aren't winning. It's not our fault what they were, or not our fault, it's not the other people's fault that they're better. It's not Moreno's fault he beat Figueiredo with a legal punch, by the way. You know what I mean? It's not Johnny Walker's fault he KO'd Paul Craig. But you're going to cheer for Johnny Walker because he won, but you're not going to cheer for the fighters that lost. You're not going to cheer for Figueiredo. No, you're not going to cheer. You're just going to boo Moreno and just ignore Figueiredo and not cheer him when he's walking out the arena. Glover Teixeira, half you are leaving the arena after your most recent Brazilian light heavyweight champion just went to war for 5 rounds. You don't want to hear his speech and respect him like he's respected you. He's fought till he's 43 for his people. And just in 5 rounds, and you're just going to leave and let him just do his speech to no one? Fucking scummy. It's just scummy and weird. Why the fuck would you let Teixeira go through a war like that, knowing he's put his life and soul into the sport for the Brazil fans for 15 odd years? More than 15 years. 20 years of his life. 25 years of his life. And you just don't give a fuck. You're just going to walk out. And you're going to throw beer at Brandon Moreno because he just beat your guy up. If it was America, Hill would get cheered. Imagine if it was in America. The pop for Teixeira retiring would be amazing. He'd get so much respect. But in his hometown, he doesn't. Gilbert Burns barely gets anything while walking out. Boring fucking crowd. Then you get the 2,000 people that clap and cheer, that are big MMA fans, that are there for the MMA. And it just lets them down. It's just scumbaggy. It's just scumbaggy. That country does not deserve another pay-per-view again. Like, that was shit. Like, it was rubbish. You want to hear something when you're watching back the interviews on YouTube. It just felt like it was like in a hall or something. It just felt like everybody had left before the main event even started, which wasn't the case. They left just when they found out their guy was losing. Like, I think when Figueiredo lost, it was just like, fuck, Moreno, you know, we have to sit now and watch him walk out and celebrate. But as soon as they kind of figured Hill was going to win, they were like, okay, bye. It's like, and there's some great Brazilians. I love Oliveira, and I love Oliveira's personality. He's a Brazilian legend. I love him. Jose Aldo, I love him. Chris Cyborg, I'm pretty sure she's Brazilian. I hate her guts. I just think she's a moody little bitch. I say little. She's more of like a muscular rhinoceros man, but it's okay. Amanda Nunes seems lovely. You know, the Lioness seems lovely. A bit manly though as well. But this is completely not the point of the video. I just feel like there was no hype at all around this event. Like there was good-ish fights on it, not worth $83 or however much it is. And that's all I really have to say on this matter. You know, that's all I have to say. it's just weird. The arena was empty practically. It was just, even in Glover's speech, you could just see empty seats around the cage, and it's like, you know, Brazilian fans clearly don't respect their athletes or want to support them as much as we thought. They're just there to be like, oh yeah, we have champions. It's just scummy. I just think they're scum. Not all Brazilians, obviously, but Colby Covington was right. Scum. Like, they just acted like scum that whole night. When I see them throwing drinks at a champion, someone who beat their guy who they should have respect for, it just pisses me off. It really enrages me. And I bet you it was some like unsuccessful overweight guy who doesn't really care about MMA doing it. I'd want, like, you know what I mean? Like, fucking batter him. Get him out the fucking arena. Don't throw drinks at a fucking rich, small little champion man like Moreno. You know, like, Moreno kind of annoys me because he acts like a bit of a baby, but like, I do like him. Like, I respect him so much as an athlete and as a competitor, but like, whatever. Thanks for watching, guys. Comment your thoughts. It's pissed me off. I'm in a mood about it.